So this is my second video blog. I actually recorded one earlier and it turned out to be way too long, and I went, I am not cutting this. And I also realized that I say the word like way too much. So I'm going to try to break myself of that habit. This weekend so far has been going very good and very... we'll go with interesting. I'm not going to say bad. I was a little frustrated because one of my friends got married this weekend and I wasn't able to go back to Michigan for it. So that was kind of like, oh, I was kind of bummed about that. But today I actually went down to a place that has some really amazing vegan sandwiches and had a really awesome vegan Philly steak and cheese that I did not have to make myself. And which was kind of cool too, because it's been probably like a few weeks since I've eaten out at all. And part of it is, financial. If I don't want to like spend all of my money on food, nor am I in a position to spend all my money on food. But also it's kind of like a portion control and a health thing, because I just, as I have been working on my health, it's, that's a big deal. Of I want to go toward eating less processed food and kind of going more toward the, dare I say it, raw vegan end of the vegan spectrum. So that was kind of cool though, because it was kind of like a fun kind of bumming around, being a hippie kind of a thing, because there was an art fair downtown, art/craft fair. And so I got this very cool, I can't quite get here, kind of minimalist pendant, which I was very geeked to find because I like really minimalist jewelry. In fact, one could say that I take a very almost architectural approach to art and to design, and so and in the architectural sense, I would be very much in the kind of industrial minimalist area of, put me in a warehouse or something that like reminds me of a warehouse, and like, yeah, I'm all happy. So yeah, and that's not always the case. It's not like I don't ever deviate from that, because I do like some Art Nouveau, some things like that. But yeah, I generally tend to like some quirky, weathered, minimalist stuff. So that kind of made my day that I found that. I also found a very cool, at least for me, new band. Ooh, I got a CD. They were playing actually at the festival, and they were pretty tight, like as I was walking by. And what really caught my ear was, it is actually, the name of the band is Arrow, which stands for American Indian Rock Opera. For those who know me and know me well, I really have this quirky music infatuation. Of anything that kind of is unusual or something that I haven't heard before, like I will pull it apart with my ears. Like if there's something I can learn from it, or if there's some, sounds that really catch my attention, I'm right there. So they were actually very cool, because they were doing some rock with some opera kind of backgrounds. I would say, maybe like if Kasabian and Yanni got together to make music, and then they had some Native American instruments and chanting. That might be these guys. So me being very stereotypically me, I went up to the booth and there were like 5,000 CDs, and I literally told the poor woman who is working there, I was like, give me the weirdest one that they have. So hopefully, I'm hoping that the one they have turns out to be delightfully bizarre. So that was kind of cool. I'm very geeked to kind of, dig into that. I was very disappointed though when I came home to find out that I cannot get into, I should not say I cannot get into my music software, because I can get into it. It's just something is, and I have the sneaking suspicion that it's Skype, because I did the Skype upgrade, and that's the only thing that I have really done. And it really wasn't the upgrade, it was the update rather. It's now telling me that essentially something is using my sound card, and I can't get into any of my stuff. So I emailed my IT cousin and said, you know, how'd you get in to check my sound card processes, because that's not, as computer nerdy as I am, that's not something that I can just pull off the top of my head. And Google was no help in this respect at all. So hopefully he'll have an answer, or else I'm just going to start uninstalling things tomorrow, because System Restore has failed to work. Yay! And I also found out that now the second out of the 4 USB ports I have is starting to essentially be non-functional. So, yeah, going to totally have to invest in a hub. But at least I'm at least happy that I can keep the laptop running. Yeah, you know, on the upside. So, yeah, so that's kind of my weekend. I actually did make some vegan cookies too. So I will be enjoying those probably through next week, because I don't want to go crazy with them. But that was kind of cool. Aside from that, I have really been digging into music lately. And really what has sparked this was the well, I shouldn't say new, because it's not new, but it's new to us Americans. The most recent, rather, Gotye album. Or rather, I think, I don't know if there's a newer one, but it's the most current one that you can get in the US at the moment, which is, you know, all over the place, and yeah, it's very top 40 at the moment. But as I started to hear it, because, well, actually it's a long story, because I actually knew about it before it got here, because I follow stuff in Belgium, which is long story. But yeah, so as I started to hear things, I went, well, like, this is really, like, fascinating production, and so I had to start to pull it apart with my ears, and I was like, wow, yeah, and as I heard it on different systems, like at work and stuff with folks playing on the radio, I went, well, I can hear a drum part on here that, like, I didn't hear, you know, with you know, my earbuds, or, you know, now with my mixing headphones on, I can hear this other part that I didn't know about. So that kind of sparked this whole music extravaganza. And so since then, since I actually dug into making mirrors, I have since then progressed through, or rather re-progressed through, some Sujfan Stevens, very specifically Age of Adz, which is really an amazing piece of work as well. It's, for those who follow his work, he has been traditionally what I would consider a little more to the experimental folk end. Age of Adz is really percussion and beat based, though. Of it's very complex, but it's very minimalist in the same respect of, there's, at least when I listen to a lot of the tracks, there doesn't seem to be as much layering in regard to instruments overlapping, or parts overlapping each other. There's a lot of instrumentation, but it doesn't, it's very, just very rhythmic and very cool. So, which has been a great album to listen to as I've been working on my own stuff, because I tend to be very focused on melody and very focused on, you know, getting kind of the right balance, at least for me, on my stuff. And so that's kind of nice to then listen to something that's just very polar opposite to kind of what I'm doing. So that's been very cool. I did kind of go into my Interpol reserve a little bit today as well, that's a whole nother nerdy discussion, very specifically on lyrics and vocals, because to me, it's the way Paul Banks does the vocals on the Interpol albums is really interesting. Like, just like when I saw them live several years ago, I mean, his enunciation was flawless. It was amazing. And because as a singer, it's very easy to under-enunciate and to over-enunciate. And for me, it's when you pull that off, it's like, wow, that's a very cool, very polished thing. So yeah, and there's also, I think, some similar vocal qualities that he brings through that you don't hear very often, that I also hear in my own voice, or at least my alto range. So that was kind of a whole, when I discovered them several years ago, that was a whole, like, I had to pull all that apart with my ears too. So I went back and I listened to a little bit of that today, and other than that, I have started to dive into some of the older Gotye stuff. Specifically, I found, I'm trying to think, it's the one with Heart's Mess on it. I haven't memorized, yeah, it's something with blood. That's so helpful. I'm descriptive. Go me. I think it's something like drawing blood, or I don't know. I have it on my phone, which is also my MP3 player, and yeah. Either way, though, that's a very cool album, because it's very different than the one that's kind of like big right now, but you can actually kind of hear the different production techniques, and you can kind of see the progression, and that's actually, for me, I like to go in and listen to a lot of times the early works of artists, or the previous works, because you can kind of see the progression of the polish and the production and the approach, and sometimes there's different approaches, and it's really to me a fascinating thing. You can learn a lot by like going in and listening to maybe not every album, but quite a few, and kind of knowing the time frame, you know, all of those things. So that's been really fascinating. Like it's yeah, it's been fun. So it's been a complete music rock out for me, like this weekend. So even if the music software is down, blah, you know, I'm getting through. So another thing though that I've been working on is, for those who know my robot obsession, I have a song called Robots on the Rise. It's not particularly what I would consider like a top 40 hit or anything. It's one of those things to where I wish the melody and the actual structure would have developed in the process a bit more than what it did, but I still really like it because it's a song about futuristic homicidal robots. And who doesn't love futuristic homicidal robots? So one of the things I've always wanted to do is to do a music video for it, and kind of not having anyone who really either had the resources or cared to do music video for it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, as I start to play around with my video editing software, yeah, that's something I want to try. And I have this supreme lack, despite the fact that I actually am very good with layout and very good with art on the computer, I'm actually horrible at drawing. Like even my stick figures look kind of disfigured and sad. So I kind of, as I thought about it, as much as I really want to do it as an animation, it's going to have to be kind of a live action thing. So to get around my lack of drawing skills, I started putting together my duct tape robot. This is the head, and this is a paper clip, because I figured out to kind of make it flexible, to kind of get the movement that I'm going to need to essentially kind of, I guess, mock marionette it, or to kind of move around in some sort of a I shouldn't say stop motion fashion, because it's not going to be quite that way. It's going to need to be jointed. So yeah, so that's why I started on. Maybe I'll have it done tomorrow, we'll see. I mean, not music video, but maybe the robot will be put together, hopefully. So I started working on that. Aside from that, you know, things are pretty much things. Lots of work. Work is going good. Love my job, thankfully. Wish I had more time in my week to work on music, but you know, at least I have some time. So I'm just kind of happy to actually have a consistent income for the first time since kind of actually going through the traffic accident, and yeah, you know, having some opportunities. So yeah, that's where things are. Aside from that, I do want to kind of know if anyone has any questions for me. You know, in regard to, I don't know, music, being vegan, being really absurdly tall. Yeah, things like that. So hit me up on the comments, or I don't know, video response me or something. Yeah, this is kind of new for me, so tweet me. You know, I'm also on Twitter. So yeah, so there's that, and I am also potentially looking for some YouTube stunt doubles. Why? Because I'm kind of limited in my filming capabilities right now. And there are certain things that I would like to demonstrate in regard to like things that go on in my head in a given day, to where I think it would be great to have some folks kind of act them out for me. So yeah, hit me up about that if you're interested. If not, well, I am none the worse for the wear. So yeah, so that's where we are, and that's my second video blog. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever it is for you. Thing.